General Will Service and Adjustment for Toyota Land Cruiser.
Toyota Land Cruiser.
A comprehensive will service procedure typically involves cleaning, inspecting, rotating tires, balancing wheels, and ensuring proper alignment for optimal performance and safety. Here's a more detailed breakdown of a typical will service procedure. 1. Safety first. Ensure the vehicle is parked on a level surface and the parking brake is engaged. Wear appropriate safety gear, such as gloves and safety glasses. 2. Inspection and preparation. Visually inspect the tires and WH. Except some differences and procedures for services and adjustment on different vehicles, the working principle remain the same. For a Toyota Land Cruiser with the 1HC engine, General Will Service, including tire rotation, inspection of wheel bearings, brake inspection, and wheel alignment checks, is typically recommended every 10,000 kilometers, 6,000 miles, under normal driving conditions. Here's a basic breakdown of general wheel-related service intervals: tire rotation, every 10,000 kilometers, brake inspection, every 10,000 to 20,000 kilometers or as needed, wheel alignment/balancing, inspect every 10,000 to 20,000 kilometers, or if you notice. You have got the initial overview of the General Will Service for 4WD cars with specific example of Toyota. The details of general front and rear service and maintenance will proceed. Before dive into the whole process, let me know your feelings. Place your comments and support my channel by clicking the like, share and subscribe button. Let me start with our workshop experience in relative to manufacturer's recommendation for General Will Service. Front and rear General Will Service. Let's start with front wheel General Service after securing the wheels on leveled ground and jack support.
Suspension system.
Remove both front wheel tires and proceed with removal of brake pads, wheel lock, snap ring, lock hub, hub nuts, lock and clow washers, wheel bearings, bearing hub with disc assembly. Continue with removal of spindle with backing plate and front axle assembly. After removal of systems and components in the procedure you are watching, proceed with cleaning and thoroughly inspecting each component for whether it works or need to replace, in relative to manufacturer's schedule and recommendations. Bearings, washers, nuts, and hub seals needs to be replaced. If any of the parts worn before an arrival of manufacturer's schedule, troubleshoot the reason for the problem. Clean band inspect wheel bearings, washers, seals, axles, hubs, and bearing races. If necessary to change the components, it is advisable to change the whole bearings and washers after packing with recommended grease. Use special tool to remove an old bearing, races and replace with new one. Grease the new bearings and hubs. Insert the new bearing races by pressing or taping into its seat. Replace the new bearing after greasing, and install new hub seal.
Front wheel bearing and hub seal.
Replace new axle seal, apply grease to the knuckle hub, knuckle bearings, front axle, install knuckle bearings, hub, knuckle arm, and tight the assemblies to specified torque, install front axle, install spindle with backing plate assemblies and tight the bolts to specified torque, assemble the front hub and disc assembly, install bearings, clow washers, hub nuts, lock washers, lock nuts, free lock hub, snap ring and locks on both sides according to their procedural order.
Install and tight the front, wheels, knuckle hub, and arms after placement of knuckle bearings. Install front axle. Install spindle and backing plate, and tight the bolts to specified torque.
Spindle and dust seal with dot backing plate.
Tight the bolts with hand first and then use wrench next.
Front suspension system.
Apply grease to the front wheel, hubs, bearings, and install. Check the torque of the spindle, clean the surroundings, and assemble the hub and bearing assemblies on both sides. Clean and dray brake disc with clean and dray rag before installing or reassembling.
Install the bearing race into wheel hub by taping it until it rests on its surface. After applying proper lubrication or grease to bearings, install grease or hub seal, then assemble the disc and hub assembly onto spindle.
Apply grease and install inner bearings and seals on both sides wheels.
Install disc band hub assembly.
Check its freely rotation.
Install outer bearing. While we install bearings, we must make sure that enough grease is applied. Claw washer and nut.
Take care of the nuts and bolts threads, not to be damaged, that they must be tightened with hand first.
Tight the nut with hand until it rests on its surface, and then tight with hub wrench.
Install lock washer and lock nut. Firmly tight the nut and bend lock washer inward and outward.
Remember, on general wheel service, the whole wheel related components including suspension components, steering linkages, and axles must thoroughly be checked and maintained.
Always tight bolts or nuts primarily with hand without applying torque wrench until the bolt or nut rests on its surface.
Bend the lock washer inward and outward. Install free lock hub and snap ring.
Tight the free lock hub.
Install brake caliper and pads, and rotate the hub and disc. Assembly.
Rear wheel. Let's proceed with rear wheel maintenance process. Remove the drum.
Check and remove brake shoes. Disconnect the hand, brake cable and retainer. Key to remove the brake shoes.
Thoroughly check brake shoes, adjusters, return springs holding springs, retainer keys after cleaning. Adjuster.
You can assemble shoes and adjuster assemblies either on table before onto brake cylinders or on axle backing plate onto its braking position.
Clean the surroundings and assemble rear wheel hub and bearing assembly after greasing and installing hub seal.
Install outer bearing.
Install claw washer.
Tight the lock nut with hand until it rests on its position, and then use special wrench to tight to specified torque.
After tightening to specified torque, check for backlash of bearing hub. Assembly. Tighten locking screw. Clean the driving axle and apply Sealant fluid and install.
Install conic washer and spring, washer and then tight axle nuts with hand until it rests on the washers, then tight to specified torque.
Dear followers, this procedure can also be used for other four-wheel drive car models except some differences.
If you liked this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel.
Check the assemblies of brake, shoes again, clean the brake drum and assemble. Finally tight the drum holding screw and rotate the brake drum to check its freely rotation to adjust brake shoe. Check the freely rotation of brake drum.
If necessary, adjust the brake shoe. Check the tire pressure, inflation if necessary, and assemble. Check and tight all wheels. This is the last process if general front and rear wheel service. Thank you for watching.